What's going on? First time I made a video in quite a while. A lot was going on. The rabbits had a lot of problems lately. Nothing new there, really. Um, I don't know how thorough I've been in the videos recently about the issues the rabbit has had. I mean, I know I explained some of it, some of the stuff that I found when I first got the car that I had to fix, some of the problems that I had after that, but it's like a continuing cycle. This car literally gives me problems all the time. It's left me stranded, I think, 3 times now. Mind you, I've only had it since last September 2019. Right now it's July 5th, 2020. So yeah, it hasn't been that long, and I think this is the Rabbit is the 14th car that I've owned, and I've never had a car give me this many problems. So anyway, lately I've had a problem with some exhaust leaks. There was a minor leak in the downpipe somewhere, but the main issue that I had with it was the catalytic converter, which was a high flow Tectonics tuning catalytic converter. It was breaking apart on the inside and banging around in the shell, making a whole bunch of noise. So at work I cut it out, I gutted the cat, and I just welded it back in place. So I kind of got rid of that issue, and then I also replaced a gasket in between this flange. So just a real quick overview, the way my downpipe is made. There's a V-band clamp coming off the turbo, and as it's doing its basically a U-turn to go back down towards the tunnel, the wastegate recirculates into that, and then it goes down to a flange. It's a 3-inch 4-bolt flange, but the pipe on the inside goes down to a 2.5-inch diameter. So yeah, I'm just frustrated that it's not a 3-inch exhaust, because I live in Florida. We don't have emissions inspections, so the bigger the better. No cat, great, but this car's the opposite of that. But anyway, yeah, V-band from turbo, wastegate recirculated down to a 4-bolt flange, and then it goes to the cat. So while I gutted the cat, welded the pipe back in place, I also replaced that gasket right before it at the flange, and put a new clamp on after the cat. So there was no leaks there, everything was good. Simultaneously, basically within a few days or like a week of each other, I deleted the secondary air injection system, which on the C2 manifold that I have, basically it doesn't leave the ports open for you to put the block off plates on there. My turbo manifold, by the timing cover, yeah, it's open, you put the port on there. Mine already had a port on it, I didn't even realize it. So I bought new block off plates for nothing. And the front of the engine, by the belts and everything, the turbo manifold actually built into the flange covers that port over there, but it has a little riser that comes out and up, and the relocated, because their whole idea for this C2 turbo kit was that they relocated the SAI instead of deleting it, which is fine, I guess, because you got to be emissions compliant in other states. So this riser comes out of the manifold flange on the very end, comes up, and that port just goes over to the combi valve. Now, to delete SAI, instead of having the ability to put a port over that, I removed the line and I put a brass tapered fitting on it with some thread sealer. So I closed that off to where it's not leaking any exhaust, but I thought that it was, at least before I put the thread sealer on there. I just kind of put it on bare, without any, and I thought it was leaking. What I actually was hearing was an exhaust leak from the exhaust manifold gasket. From the cylinder head to the turbo manifold, that gasket, it went bad. That or I have some problems with the manifold itself, but then the leak was getting worse and worse, noticeably worse. So I saw like a bunch of carbon buildup around the flange in a few different areas. I would be smelling fuel upon startup and revving the engine. And now it's so bad to the point where I'm almost convinced there is another crack in the turbo manifold. I already had one welded up at the very top of it, but now I think there's a crack in the weld that goes around one of the runners, cylinder number 2 to be exact. So I have a leaking manifold again, and the cylinder head to manifold gasket's bad as well. So, and it is so bad to where when I'm sitting at an idle, I'm at a red light or anything like that, there's literally fumes coming into the car that I can see, and of course breathe in. It's very, very bad. So I was like, well, I need to fix that. And honestly, for me to take off the turbo manifold, it's so intricate with the where the nuts are, especially cylinder 1 and 5 where the manifold comes over the nuts on top. It's such a pain to get it out. And even when it goes well, it's still kind of a time-consuming process, and this is my only car, and I work 6 days a week, and on the day that I'm off, I pick up my daughter. So I decided to buy another car. And so while I get this car on the road, I'm going to have the Rabbit down and fix it all. I'm going to replace the gasket. I'm going to put all new studs and nuts on the manifold. I'm going to take the manifold, have all the welds redone, reinforced, with a guy that has a TIG welder, and he's really good at it, really good at welding. And I'm going to make sure that the flange is straight. I'm going to have that checked, and then I'm going to have it ceramic coated, and hopefully it doesn't crack again in the future. Because if it does, then I'm going to have to invest in going with like a JDL manifold, and that thing's like $1,000 when it's on sale. And I'd have to redo my intercooler piping. I'd have to get a new downpipe made. I might have to redo the wastegate as well, so that'd be a very pricey thing if I ever have to run into that problem. Yeah, anyway, so I'm gonna roll a clip real quick of the car that I bought now. I bought another car, guys. There it is. Mark IV Jetta 1.8. Interior's a little dirty. Outside's not that bad though, pretty clean. Yeah, had a misfire, and then I put my other battery in there, which is a good battery, and it doesn't misfire anymore. So let's go take a look. Interior's in pretty bad shape, just a heads up. Of course it's dirty, but yeah. There's buttons in the center that are missing, but I have those. I just gotta plug them in. The glove box is damaged. The seats are okay. They're not bad. $600. Starts up and drives. Not bad. And this fucking thing, the whole reason I bought this car is because this car needs to be parked, and I need to spend a few weeks fixing some stuff. So yeah, you know, for the price, it was not a bad find. So we'll see how well it goes. Basically, a real quick overview is that thing was misfiring real bad, and basically it would have a hard time starting as well. Like even my jump box from work really struggled to start that car. But I had a basically new battery and storage from my Jetta OEM Volkswagen battery. It was like a 1.5 years old. I grabbed it, put it in, bam, started right up, and the misfire was gone. Like I don't know if that battery had a dead cell and it just didn't have enough juice to like make all the coils run, or what was going on there. But now that the other battery's in there, it starts up and it runs much smoother. I think it still has a small miss, but it's very minor. But the thing is that it has a vacuum leak that's very obvious under the hood. So yeah, so I just have to get it cleaned up real well. I have to diagnose why the AC isn't working. That's really it. I should be able to drive it around until I can get the Rabbit fixed. So this is just a short update. I'm trying to make more videos, and of course I will make more videos once the Rabbit's running how it should. So yep, stay tuned.